Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of The Day After for the 2025 season. We are live here at the Longines Arena in Doha, Qatar, for a reflection on what has turned out to be a really intriguing stage. We've seen some predictable outcomes. We've seen some rather surprising outcomes. We've seen outstanding team performances. And unfortunately, as always, there's going to be disappointing team performances. This is the show at the end of the Global Champions League where we take a moment to reflect and look at some of those highlights and also take a look at some of those big talking moments that may have taken place throughout the weekend. My name is Mark Lewis. I'm joined by Dan Strange, and I'm joined by two fantastic writers that we were very excited to have. There's no surprise, in FMS, Fernando Martinez Sommer joins us live in the studio. And if I'm not mistaken, Johan, very first time here on The Day After, correct?
Yes, that's right.
That's very cool. Johan Sebastian Gulliksen joins us as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Dan, welcome. Let's maybe start with you, if you don't mind, gents. First GCL stage of the year. First opportunity for the teams to come out. Bit of reflection on what we saw take place in Doha this week?
I think it shows how competitive the season's going to be again. I think it shows how Iron Dames now not only one teams, but two teams. Can they create a monopoly, a bit of a dynasty through this season? But I think the other thing yesterday showed is how much the other teams are stepping up to try and match them.
We talk about this Iron Dames dynasty that is trying to be built by Deborah Meyer. We have the Cunt Stars powered by the Iron Dames, the 2024 champions, winning again here in Doha like they did in 2024. An outstanding result as well for the Prague Lions, who get themselves onto the podium. And then we see their second team now powered by the Iron Dames, the new Monaco Comets, finishing on the podium as well. Almost a 1-2 combination for the Iron Dames, separated only by the Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team. FMS, talk about it from a team perspective. That was really good yesterday. I imagine on an opening stage to come out like that, to have Peter in your side, to have Niels in the wings talking to you, to perform the way you did. Is that an almost perfect weekend for Prague Lions?
Yeah, we were very happy, Mark. I have to say, we have a strong team. Everybody is really close, so it's really nice to work with them. We have strong riders there, so it's great to have their insight always and their help in the background. And we have good horses at the moment. And I think we'll be pushing for the seasons.
Johan, I know it's disappointing to fall away in the second round, but if you take a look at kind of a halftime result, I imagine where the Scandinavian Vikings found themselves at the end of the first round, go last in that second round, you must be very happy with that performance. It's very positive signs for the future, isn't it?
100%. And I'm very happy the way my horse jumped. He jumped 2 rounds there yesterday, and it was really feeling really good. And also for Deirdre, it was the first time she's doing this team competition. It's also a good experience. And I think we can bring this on for the rest of the season and we can keep going.
What are your thoughts on Deirdre? It's obviously difficult to come into a new setup, to come to a giant arena, to perform on a big stage like that. Your thoughts on how Deirdre performed?
I think she did a very, very good job. Like last year was my first season, and I know how the feeling is when you first go into this global tour. The fences are big, the time is short, and also the distance are difficult. So it's a lot of difficulties. And here we have a huge arena also. So it's it's a lot of things that plays in. So, but I think she did a very good job yesterday.
How are you finding your feet as a young rider here? Because I'm thinking maybe about you as well, Fernando. A couple of years ago when you were starting to really perform at this level, what advice do you give the younger riders that are in season 1 or season 2? Because it takes quite a while maybe to feel like you're here at the right platform, right? Like, what do you say to the younger guys who are in season 1, season 2?
Well, it's still taking a while for me to think, but I feel exactly the same way as 2 years ago, I have to say.
No, but you have to be feeling like you are owning the space more now, right? Do you not feel like you are? Oh, really? It's a very valid question. I know what you mean.
At his face.
I know what you mean, because you told us about this a couple of seasons ago, where you didn't have the experience that the men around you had, and you were trying to earn that experience. But now, a few seasons later, you are more settled in the team. You are delivering the performances. Your mare in particular, we'll get to her later. She's giving you what it is you need. I mean, surely you are starting to feel more deserving of that position now?
I mean, it definitely takes a while that you get used to and a little bit more comfortable with the level, especially that for me was a big change, coming from Mexico and suddenly being this stage with so many riders that you've been watching when you were a kid. So it's like watching a movie and suddenly you're in the set, So for me, it was a bit impressed when I started. But definitely, I think it really depends on the string of horses you have at the moment. And you know how it is this sport with the horses. Every show is different. So you always have this nerve that you don't really know what is going to happen, you know. So I think in myself, and it's a good thing that we always keep ourselves with that hunger and with that nerve that you really need to give your best and don't get too confident. Otherwise, I think you don't perform the same way.
What's some of the recurring themes that you heard from the riders? You're on the ground, you're chatting to them, and you're doing all these interviews. What was there a seemingly recurring theme that was popping up around a lot of the post-round reactions for you?
I think, well, Julien and Quentin, who obviously they had probably one of the second worst rounds in the first round and then improved in the second. I think for them it was about getting into the season. The first round went dreadfully. Bassem then jumped really well in the second one, time fault. I think in here it's always slightly about timing, but also the second round seemed to be, it was such a technical end to the course that people were really struggling there, and that was coming across, that you kind of never felt like you were really into it because you knew what was to come. It told with Peter on his round that it was the combination where you had the fence that ultimately cost Prague Lions more than what they got in the end. So I think it was that sort of tightness that you could never really relax through the course. Is that fair?
I think it was a fair course, quite technical. I think Peter Schumacher is a super course designer. I've seen him a couple of times already, and I think it's always like a little bit of a tricky angle, but not really tricky, you know, but just in the point that you can have a mistake easy. So like we saw yesterday, horses were jumping actually really good. I saw the horses getting better and better through the course, and you saw faults everywhere. So it was one of those courses that they don't kill you, but the faults come everywhere. So you gotta be focused from the start to the end. And I think that last triple was a little bit, the horses coming already a little bit tired. It was a little bit delicate triple with an Oxer coming out, so it was tricky in the end of the course.
Did you feel a big jump up, Johan, from between round one and round two? Did you feel like it escalated, like they really raised the bar?
I think I must say, like, the first round was big, the second one was even bigger. But the thing is that the horses have been jumping very well here, and the arena that makes the horses get a big stride from it, because it's a big arena. You can get like, the ground gives you a lot, you know. And I think the way the horses are jumping here, also like last week, and also they really enjoy like jumping on this surface and this arena, to be honest. A lot of horses.
Talk to me about Harwich, because watching yesterday, Harwich looked very comfortable in both round one and round two. You talk about round two escalating. It felt like he dealt with it so smoothly and so easily. For those that don't know Harwich too well, give us some background on character and you know what it's like to be working with him.
No, he's a horse that really tries his best. He really wants to do his best, and he's very careful. And he has his own technique. He twists a little bit, but he wants to be careful and doesn't want to hit any poles. So but he does it in his own way, you know. And he was really fresh already when I warmed up for the second round, and he really. Like, I must say, he really enjoyed this arena.
You need to probably acknowledge that you have one of the most exciting mares on the circuit this year. I remember talking to you, I think it was London last year, where we took some time to come and meet Lady and spend time with her in the field and talk to you at the stable. And already then, she was showing wonderful signs, because you guys had a great start to the year in Miami and in Mexico. What's the 12 months of development been like for Lady? Because the way she's jumping now, Fernando, she looked so calm yesterday, so relaxed in the ring.
Yeah, I'm delighted with her. She gives her heart for me there. I think she's a very clever mare. She's definitely really, really careful, and she needs to have enough trust to make the job she did yesterday. So for me, it's a mare that it's important to keep her a little bit in this level, that she keeps on feeling comfortable doing it and not get too many surprises out of a break or several weeks without jumping down. I'm definitely very excited for this year with her. I think last year We did a lot of the team competitions. I think it worked really well for her because she comes in the ring the first round. Of course, it's a big round, but she can do it. She feels she can do it. And then she comes back to the second round more relaxed, and it's already a step up. So I would love this year to be able to do more Grand Prix with her. Maybe do one of the 2 rounds and then a Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can keep up those results in the Grand Prix.
You talk about her being relaxed. Of course, to the untrained eye, we almost see these horses like machines. You know, they're so good at what they do. You said about her having a break, and you said to us off air before this that you've brought her back in recently and it didn't all completely run to plan. Just explain what happened and why that was.
Well, I really like to give a break to the horses. I don't like to go the whole year and with no stop, you know. So after the final in Riyadh last year, I gave her a break. Of course, she keeps on working and everything, but it's not the same as keeping on the show. And she's a very chill mare. She likes being home. She loves being in the field, and she takes it seriously, you know. So after some time there, she really gets in a holiday mood, and it's not so easy to bring her back to feel fit again and to have that push for the big level. So we did some small shows before coming here to get her a little bit going. And then last week we had the chance to already be competing here, which was fantastic for her because she could be in the ring, get a little bit more confident in a bigger level and feel even more comfortable this weekend.
That's what it feels like in your 40s. You get down on the couch, you're not getting up. This is my problem. This is my problem. Can we talk about your dad for a second, please? And I don't know to what degree in your life having him as your father was maybe sometimes intimidating or amazing, but I think your dad is great. I really find him such a wonderful character. Can you talk to us from a team perspective? What role does he offer the team? Because I imagine that there's Gear the father, and then there's Gear kind of the team manager as well, and you're almost stuck in the middle there. Does he treat you like a son? Does he treat you like a rider in his team? What is the balance like? What is he like having around?
No, I think he treats me like we are like a team, you know, like he's professional. He really loves the sport, and he tries to see what is best for everyone, you know, on the team. Not for me, but for everyone, what we can do best, you know. And he all discuss with all the team members, try to make a good plan for the season, look ahead because it's a long season in the end. So it looked like overall like as a team member, to be honest. Yeah.
What was the winter like for you and for the Scandinavian Vikings? There's been a lot of personnel changes and shifts. There's no denying losing Henrik von Ackermann is a really big loss for any team to have a world number one no longer there. There's been some other personnel changes, new riders coming in, like you mentioned. What was the winter like? What was the end to the year, the off season been? It's never really off for you guys, but you know what I mean. What is the planning and conversations been like to try and restructure?
No, it's that's also difficult. Like Henrik and Evelina, they was on the team for like many years. So it was a bit hard to find a structure and find who is going to be on the team for this year.
Do you see yourself playing a bigger role now because of their absence?
Maybe I do, yeah. Okay, at the moment I just have Harvard, so I need to make a good plan for him for the whole season, because we cannot do every show. So, but it's we try to be committed, and we try to make a structure that everyone is happy, and we try to keep the horses fit for the season.
You ever had a chance to interview Gear? You have to once in your life.
No, but
he's like a racehorse. You give him one question and he's off. It's unbelievable.
I sat with Johan and Gear at dinner the other night. I was going to ask, with obviously, you know, you have your father here with you on tour away from the arena, but also their coaching as well. How often do you have to kind of go, Dad, actually, don't talk at this point. Let me have my own thoughts. Because parents do have extra things that they might say, and sometimes they say things that maybe a coach wouldn't say. Are there times where you have to go, Dad, give me 10 minutes, and I'll come back and
cross the line from manager to dad during a show?
Many times.
Yeah. Dad, I got it. I know what happens then in that situation where you find that he maybe he's jumping into dad's zone.
He doesn't ask you out for dinner.
Exactly. Do you try to hold him back? Do you let him do his thing?
Because but it's just when he's going to the party after.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You know? No, but I know him so well. So I know where I can do a little bit like, okay, now I go a bit away. I know how, when I need help, I can ask for anything, you know. So and I know him inside out, you know. So I know how I should handle him.
Talk about sidelines. How much of a blessing is it for you as a rider and as a team to have the opportunity to have a guy like Niels Bruynseels on the sideline to not only give advice, to not only give insight, to help you walk the course, to talk to you in between rounds? I said yesterday, I don't think Niels realizes how technically brilliant he is, because to him, I think it feels like normal, but he's so above normal, it's frightening. To have him as a teammate, to have him as a friend here at shows like that, what value does a guy like that bring?
No, you're absolutely right, Mark. I think he's unbelievable. I got to last year in the final in Riyadh. He was really there in the final, and he was helping me out. And you know, with a couple of things that he say, you feel already the change.
His brain is unbelievable.
So it's just great to have him in the team, as well as Peter. They are such extraordinary riders that it's a great advantage and help to have them on your side, you know. And now that I've been longer with the track lines, you start to feel also more close to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have more confidence on watching a video, asking from their inside or whatever, and it really helps me. So I'm very grateful to be part of this team.
The truth is that the Prague Lions setup actually looks very stacked this year, because you continue to have Niels, you continue to have Peter, you continue to have yourself, and I mean this with all the respect in the world. You are now owning that space, FMS, so deserved. But now you then have Thibaut Spitz, who was the most outstanding youngster that we saw last year. Impressed K jumped like he was 15 years old. And then you go sign Kyle Tim to the team as well, who was probably the breakout rider of the year in 2024. And you put all of that together into this lineup, and all of a sudden, the Prague Lions start to look like a very, very dangerous outfit.
Don't forget Anna as well, experience there.
And again, you talk about the experience and the backing. Anna Kalnarova is up there as well. You put all of that together, that becomes a very dangerous unit.
I think that's one of the strengths of this team, you know. Anna likes to have a long-term team, and she sticks to the team. She likes to create an environment in a long term and not be changing so much in a new team. So it's really something special, because she tries to have this team, like I said, in long term, and then everybody starts working in a different way, you know, and then you really see the best for the team, and you really want to do the best for the team. I think it's really important what she does there. And
that patience is key, because I think sometimes you get too aggressive in chasing success. If you have a manager, you have an owner that gives you the time to really find your feet, that must make you feel very relaxed as a rider, no?
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the keys of our team. And we really, you know, stick to each other. We can always speak to each other, make the best decisions in every show, who's going, who's not. And in the end, if it's in a long term and you know we're going to be together for several years working into the same project and with the same goals, then you think differently. Not only you start really as a team member, and not only for your career or your riding, you know. So no, it's great that the team stays the same, and we are very happy, of course, to have Kyle coming in. He had great results last year, so it's great that he's coming in. Yeah, you know, on paper it's a strong team, but you know the sport, so hopefully we can keep it up.
Johan, are you a little bit worried about depth? We spoke about not having Enric, not having Evelina. Is that a conversation that's being had on the sidelines? Is there a depth concern for Scandinavian Vikings, or are you confident that what you have is enough to get you over the line?
No, I think actually we are very confident. I think we have a very good team spirit, and where people like to be in the team, and they're all supportive. So I think this year I think we're gonna have a good team. We have Jur, Freeling coming in. We have Sarah Ringelkova. And then we have some new ones coming in. But I think I'm quite confident for the season, to be honest.
How realistic is an Iron Dames final podium for both teams come the end of the season? Because what I watched yesterday from the Monaco Comets was probably a warning sign to a lot of teams in the league. Canstars win it again, which is a reminder of how good they are. A realistic double podium finish for this Iron Dames project at the end of the season, is that a reality?
I don't think you would you can't really underestimate them, can you? Because of the structure and the infrastructure that's being built, you can't underestimate it. I think the way Edwina Tops-Alexander rode yesterday on fellow Casper, he phenomenal and gave that consistency through the evening for them, and it allowed. Obviously, Johan came in the second round. She jumped well. Because of the support they have behind them, and we've spoken about team spirit on both sides. Of course, I think it's a really interesting one, jumping with just 2 riders or just having 2 riders in country, and how that changes your perception of your weekend. And, because obviously you've got to protect the horses and make sure you do it in the right way, which you did yesterday. For them, it's the strength in depth they've got. Would you bet against it after last year?
No, because I think this year will be a quite tough season, because this year we have 17 teams.
Yeah.
Last year we had 14.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very tough season, to be honest. Is there more shows as well this year?
16 shows.
More stages, more teams.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all getting
so
bigger.
it's going to be a long, tough season. So it's going to be exciting to see how. Now we just started, so how we're going to turn out.
Are the other teams looking at this Iron Dames project? And now, because of the 2 teams, I refer to it as the Iron Dames project. Of course, I mean CanStars and Monaco Comets. Are the other teams looking at the model that they are using that seems to be very successful? Is this something that is being discussed amongst the other teams? FMS, Johan, are you guys looking at what they are doing, the success it's bringing? Can it be replicated? Is this something that is being looked at around the league?
Yeah, I think it's everyone discussed. Like, there are 2 girls team that are doing very, very well. Top riders, top horses, good people behind. But I think it's also, in the end, you have to have a system, and you have to have like good communication with the team players you have. So if you're happy with what you do, I think you can get far ahead, to be honest, with what we can do.
Are there lessons to be learned from what they are doing, Fernando?
I mean, definitely. I think
They have their own style, but yeah, is there lessons to be learned?
No, 100%. I think that they're very strong riders with very good horses. It's a model that, of course, works, and we seen that last year, and we will see it again.
Sure.
I'm not sure about who's winning or not, but for sure they're gonna be big contenders there, and they're gonna be getting a lot of results. I just think every team is different, and every sponsor is different, and everybody has different approaches. So it's not so easy to do what they are doing. They have great horses, all the riders. So I think sometimes in the teams, some riders have less horses than others.
Yeah.
Sometimes one great rider has only 1 horse for the season, and others have more. And in that team, you see all of them with great horsepower, and they are unbelievable riders. So I think that's what's going to make them really strong.
Let's talk stage 2, Mexico. Are you on your way to Mexico in a couple of weeks' time?
Unfortunately not. So my next stage will be Madrid.
Okay.
So it's going to be a bit of a break now, and then yeah. But for us, it's Jorge Mate, Sara Mingrakova, and you're feeling going there. And I'm feeling confident about that.
Very quickly for Harwich to switch between a giant sand ring and a giant grass ring that we see at the Club Campo de Villa in Madrid. That's going to be a smooth transition for you.
I think he will like that. He likes big arenas, grass. I love jumping on grass. The horses also, if they like it, they really enjoy it, and I think something I look forward to.
Mexico for you? Absolutely.
I go for Mexico.
You are the prodigal son that has to come back to Mexico. You're looking forward to the stage?
Yeah.
Excited to go back?
Definitely, yeah. Always exciting to go back. I mean, it's always great to be home, but also not because it's home. I think it's one of the best shows in the season. I really enjoy it. I think it's a great atmosphere, and it's always good and a little bit extra pressure to be there.
Abuelita will be there?
100%.
Por favor, Abuelita, we want you to come to Mexico City to join us in the studio. One of my favorite moments ever. You don't have the opportunity to come to Mexico, I'm afraid.
Gutted, no. Shanghai for me next.
Well, you and Johan are out. FMS and I will be in Mexico City in a couple of weeks' time. That essentially is a wrap of what has taken place in the Global Champions League here in Doha. It has been stage 1, a famous, impressive victory once again for the CanStars, a welcoming of the Monaco Comets, who now come out with a real big bang, and an outstanding podium finish for the Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, sums up the podium and sums up the opening stage. We take a few weeks break. We then travel all the way through to Mexico City, and we'll see you in the giant grass ring there for stage 2. Johan, thank you. FMS, thank you. Dan, thank you. from Doha. Thank you very much. We'll see you in Mexico City in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.